Hello and welcome to She TV, the place women come to become powerfully feminine from the inside out. Today I'm going to be disclosing the 10 common misconceptions of what feminine power is about. I am drinking a 1,000-mile Wu Yi Rock Oolong. That is a mouthful, and it is a mouthful. You've actually jumped into a 15-day femathon, which basically is our daily live streams, videos, and the grand finale is a day of masterclasses with me. It's a 90-minute masterclass I'm conducting 3 times next Monday. Make sure that you sign up at a time that you know you can turn up. And I'm going to be talking to you about what I consider, and I have seen again and again, the 3 massive mistakes women continue to make that keep them on this gerbil wheel of exhaustion, overwhelm, and heading to burnout. Now, the reason why I'm doing it under that title and that topic is that those are some of the biggest symptoms that are degrading your own inner experience of yourself, your authentic self, and your feminine power. So I've put a link below in the comments section on how to sign up for the masterclass next Monday. Please enroll yourself now. I want to make sure that you do get a seat. You need to enroll and you need to actually turn up, even if you can't watch the full masterclass, or there will not be any replays. But if you do turn up, you will have access to a replay. Now, another reason why I'm encouraging you to sign up now is that you're actually going to be sent daily videos from me preceding the masterclass. And these are going to be little snapshot, short videos that cover with you some of the core myths and misconceptions in a really bite-sized chunk form, and to get you juiced up and ready and waiting for the masterclass, okay? Today, I'm going to be discussing with you 10 common misconceptions about what the feminine is about. I gathered this from my own experience and my recollection of what I thought feminine things were, especially when I was a big corporate diva back in the late 80s, early 90s. I was, that sort of ball-busting corporate woman with a briefcase. Yes, I had a briefcase. I had the $1,000 suits on. I had my blonde hair tied back tight, either in a ponytail or a bun. Always the black high-heeled shoes. I was that person. And I was kind of a ball-buster, right? But I remember this one incident when I was walking through the lift lobby, of one of those giant corporate buildings. And, where there's a hustle and bustle of hundreds of people walking around to and fro from the lifts, going outside. I would carve my way through those lift lobbies like I owned the place. And I had a lot of, fuck off energy on me. So it's like, I've got my shit together, but I'm not taking any attention from anybody else. And then I wondered why I wasn't landing the kind of man or relationship that I wanted, okay? I was, in short, exuding man mode energy that came with a big push away to most of the men around me. I then observed in my early embryonic stages of, sort of watching out the feminine, that these men were ending up with very feminine women. Now, my eyes, or the lens through which I saw these women, was a lens of great judgment. As in, I judged them as being some of these 10 misconceptions, or I really wasn't seeing their feminine power. I didn't know how to see that. I had no role models. I had no mentorship. I had no examples of the feminine being a powerful experience or thing to be as a woman. Okay, so let's dive into our topic today, which is the 10 misconceptions that so many people have about feminine power. And I am going to list them off here. So here are the 10 common misconceptions about what feminine means. Weak, dependent, manipulative, drama-filled or dramatic, bossy, greedy, volatile, ineffective, shrinking or being underneath, or servitude. Now just let those words sink into you there a little bit. Just let them sink in and see if you have had any judgments inside you around the feminine that sound a bit like some of those words or those concepts. Now the thing is, those things I just described, now, of course, are real things. And we've all experienced that in other people, or in fact in ourselves at times. It's just that they represent one of two things. They represent either the false feminine, or what I'm describing as the lower feminine, okay? Now, what we want to make sure doesn't happen when we work with this model of the feminine archetypes is that then becomes a judgment about that. Let's just take it on a sort of more objective observation mode that, oh, I wonder if when a woman is being volatile, it might be because she's fallen into the false feminine. And I'm wondering, I'm curious as to what's behind that. What's creating this drama or this volatility? Now, I know the answer to that. The answer to that is her needs aren't being met. Now, and that's for one of two reasons. She either doesn't know her needs, as in she hasn't actually taken a deep dive into desire, and or she doesn't know how to ask for her needs, okay? When a woman discovers her needs and her desires, owns them, embodies them, and knows how to speak them out and ask for them, she doesn't need to be dramatic or volatile or demanding, okay? So if, like me, you found yourself walking through the world thinking that your power was only coming from the masculine part of yourself, the masculine polarity, and that you're through this lens, that you only saw the feminine polarity as some of these 10 misconceptions, then the problem is you're missing out on a whole world of the true level that you couldn't yet see. So what I'm here to do for you is to help to illuminate what the true feminine looks like and feels like. As I say again and again, you cannot transform what you don't see. So we need to see this first in ourselves. We need to be honest with ourselves. We need to own, oh, perhaps I do kind of see the feminine a bit like that. And if you do see the feminine like some of these misconceptions, you probably don't really trust it in yourself or in others, right? That's kind of understandable, hey? I didn't know that there was something else behind what I was observing in that lift lobby. I didn't understand that that woman was actually really owning her feminine, and that it was a beautiful thing that she knew how to have softer edges and that she knew how to receive his masculine into her. So what was I doing through the eyes and the sensitive energy perception of these men? I was pretty much a man. Now this is an interesting point, because when you watched me walking around those lift lobbies, I was this 20-something blonde bombshell, full of confidence, very successful, and on paper I looked like I had it all together. On the inside, what was happening for me was I had chronic headaches. I was alone because I couldn't get the kind of relationship I wanted. I was very career focused, and so that took up a lot of my head space and my energy space. And then if we scratch the surface back a few steps, I was in a massive self-preservation cycle. I was coping, and I was defending aspects of myself. I was pretty caged up. The reason why I illuminate these misconceptions is in order for you to understand and see and feel in yourself that in the false feminine you are it's a vicious circle. And again, if you're anything like me, I felt that soft, gooey center that I am really about in my private time on my own, and sometimes going to sleep at night or waking up in the night where I felt very sad and very separate and very alone and lost. I, at the time, wasn't yet on my spiritual path, and something was aching and yearning inside me for something real, for some sense of deep connection, for the ability to be powerful, feel powerful, but be authentic at the same time. And to not perceive that I had to choose between these two things, that they were not antagonistic concepts. So the reason why I speak about this model for you is, as you stand up in the Queen, then you are standing in something authentic and real. You don't feel like you're having to pretzel yourself into some shape that either a corporation or organization makes you go into, or your socioeconomic conditioning forces you into, or a relationship forces you into, or a family forces you into. These levels of conditioning that you don't know that you have until you do a deep dive into desire and discover what they are. And this is why desire, for example, the art of desire, is one of the 5 core feminine arts. And in the Powerfully Feminine Intensive, I take you through a whole process of discovery of the conditioning, of discovering of what I call the shallow levels of desire, and then owning all of these pieces that have got you there where you think you want what you want. But then when you actually take a deep dive into desire, what you start to discover is, whoa, I think I want things that I haven't been taught about. I think I want things that are not necessarily part of my socio-religious or economic background or upbringing. I think that I'm a different person than I often present to the world. My interest here is for you to be able to be yourself, to stand in yourself, to feel yourself, to embody yourself, in order that you can then confidently, gracefully, and joyfully walk through life. A life that you get to express a sense of meaning and purpose and perhaps even mission. The antidote to these misconceptions of what feminine means, or what you have perceived previously feminine to mean, is the stepping from the false feminine or false masculine, even misconceptions, like a certain lens that you've possibly been indoctrinated to believe, or unconsciously believe, or have been taught actively to believe, any of those, to actually realizing that the true feminine is something very, very different. It's a different order of magnitude. You go from being inside the forest, right, and not being able to see the forest for the trees, to elevating yourself in a stance where you literally can see the whole game being played, okay? And there's often a game being played at the false feminine, false masculine level. And then you can also perceive a much broader vista of yourself, your life, your purpose, your sense of who you really are, and others around you. From the level and the perception of yourself at the level of the Queen, it's patently aware that there is no competition. You don't need to compromise yourself. You don't need to put other people down. There's plenty of space for everybody to be in their true feminine or the true masculine. There's no need to fight. There's no need to compete. There is only an encouraging of others upwards into themselves, toward their light, toward their true authentic nature. I want to finish with this quote from Marianne Williamson. Something amazing happens when we surrender and just love. We melt into another world, a realm of power already within us. The world changes when we change. The world softens when we soften. The world loves us when we choose to love the world. And on that note, much, much love from me to you. We can all do this together in sisterhood. And remember, when you have the courage to go out there and shine, you give others permission to do the same. So let's all go out there and shine this week. Bye-bye for now.